Welcome back to another episode of The Cure for Cowardice. I have made 2 other videos today where I started rambling on about something or another, and neither of them really were going anywhere or had any good point. And so I am not going to be posting either of them because neither of them were properly done. I need to post something because I post every day, and not posting something would be breaking that promise to myself. So I've made videos before talking about how I didn't know what to talk about, but how I was posting anyway. And I would really prefer that this not be one of those videos because it's kind of a cop-out. It's like there's only so many times you can say that you don't know what you were going to say. But anyway, I think a good topic of this video is asking for help when you need it. And the reason that this is relevant to me right now is I'm leaving my restaurant job, and there were a couple people on shift when I got there. It wasn't too crazy, it was just kind of like steady. So they left. And then, as soon as they left, it got very busy. And I was the only server, and there was only one bartender. So we're running around like crazy, doing our things. And it just keeps getting busier and busier and busier. And then we had a group come in that said that they had a reservation for weeks. And there was 10 of them. And we have a reservation book, and they weren't on there. And so, at that point, I asked the other girl if she could find out if anybody could come in. Because I would have rather made a little bit less money, but had the customers all be taken care of and happy, compared to not. Yeah, compared to the opposite. Compared to a bunch of pissed off customers, and everybody waiting a really long time for basic things. And as soon as I asked, I felt bad. And then when she came in to help, I felt even worse. And she was a massive help. I think we possibly could have done it without her, but there would have been a lot more unhappy customers, and the fact that she was there was a massive blessing. Now, granted, she only had to be there for a couple hours tops, but the fact that we asked made all the difference, not for us, because we were busy anyway, but it made the difference for the customers, and that's what was important. And I think too often we run into situations where it seems like we can do it. It seems like whatever it is that we're trying to do, we are capable of doing ourselves. But it would be really nice to have some help. And I have spent most of my life leaning on the side of, if you can do it yourself, then do it yourself. Don't inconvenience other people. Don't be a drain on resources if you do not absolutely have to be. If it is not a life or death emergency, don't ask for help. Do it yourself. And I think that there is some benefit to that, but it's too extreme. And I think that this is a great example because it may not have made that big of a difference for myself and the girl who was already there, but it did make a difference for the customers. And so even though we were going to be busy and a little stressed either way, the fact that we asked for help meant that the customers were a lot happier and were being taken care of properly compared to if we had just done it ourselves and it had been a worse experience for the customers. And the reason that's a good example is because even though we could have done it ourselves, it would have affected somebody else negatively by doing it ourselves instead of just having the humility to ask for help. And I think there's a powerful lesson there, which is that even in situations where you can do it yourself, even in situations where you do not absolutely need help, you are not the only person to consider. It's not all about you, because if you are doing something, chances are there's somebody else who it affects as well. And while you may be okay, by not asking for help, by trying to do it yourself and tough it out, you are making a situation worse for them and giving them a worse experience as a result. Simply because you are prideful and you don't want to ask for the help because you don't want to admit that you were not able to do it yourself. And so I think this is something that I really need to think about and study, because if I can get to the point where I look at not just myself but everybody else involved in a situation when I'm determining whether or not I should make the ask, then everybody wins. Because granted, did she earn a little bit more money that, may have gone to us? No. Because, well, okay, that's the wrong example. Granted, would I have possibly felt better in my pride? Would I have had less of a hit to the ego if I had been able to do it myself? Yes. That would have felt good. That would have been like I'm the man. It was crazy busy and I handled it anyway, and that's what I should have done, and blah 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 blah. But it's like, it's not about me. Like, I am just one element in the equation. And as soon as I can look at the whole equation for what it is, instead of just my own ego, everybody's able to win. So anyway, I think that's what I got for this one. Turned out to, I think, actually be worth something. Hopefully you got some value out of it, whoever you are that's watching it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Catch y'all on the flip side.